operations and standardizing them has always been a challenge. It still continues to be. Why is it so difficult to standardize, operations? It's most organizations find it, they know what requires to be done, or they get help from organizations such as yourselves. Why do they find it difficult to actually implement and operationalize it?
Sure. So let me give a little bit of context as to why did this concept of standardization caught on big time. So, one of the criticisms of standardization is it's an industrial era concept, right? Wherein you had laborers who needed, continuous activity without really applying their brains. So while that is the criticism, which is valid in some sense, when standardization is extremely rigid and you end up merging it with what I call a bureaucratic setup.
Mhm.
But what organizations typically need is standardized processes which are agile and responsive to the customer needs.
Mhm.
Now I understand that sounds a bit like cliche and consulting talk, but let me just expand on it a little more.
Sure.
Now what happens is, why do organizations need standardization? The one of the reasons being that as you grow in your field and in your business, you need processes which are more repeatable, more reproducible by any and every operator. By operator, I mean anybody who's executing a process.
Yeah.
And it could be either customer facing or employee facing, internal facing processes. The challenges that organizations face, they come up with brilliant processes. But the challenge being that how does the operator execute it? So while they look at the CX angle very well, what they miss out is what we call the HX angle, or the human experience angle, that if your operator is not very well versed or find your process is easy to operate, they will find a workaround, and your standardization story kind of remains in the books, or PDFs as I call it. So that is the challenge that organizations face. And what we have seen in the last couple of years, while technology has evolved to a lot of extent to be able to diagnose the source of the problem. So, ranging from process mining or the new methodologies like design thinking or lean or agile, etc. You are able to diagnose the problem very well. But what happens is, what after diagnosis, once you come up with the new processes, how can your people who are executing it on the ground get versed with it? And that's where we saw a lot of applicability in tools like yours. And when I saw the first demo, I said, this is a product which is actually what we can call in our language solving for the last mile connectivity, right? Without this, brilliant solutions remains in PPTs and for audits.
Right.
And we saw that operators find it very, very easy to utilize this because it tells them real time what to do, how not to make a mistake. And it helps the organizations move away from this cycle of continuous training, because attrition in today's world is a reality.
Right.
While HR solves for it, from our perspective, we need a tool which the operators can grasp on the go and keep executing on it.